listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
Y'all know how it's going down. Skip, chicken and watermelon on New Orleans Talk Network. Boom. Let's go.
Holla at you, man, and the app with us. And we gonna make this thing on the pop with New Orleans Talk Network. With real fans talk about real sports. And not only sports, it's everyday activity in life, man.
Yo, what's up? It's Pooga Williams, 2017 Mr. Football. You are now tuned into FanView Live on New Orleans Talk Network.
My name is Jaquan Jackson, SMU commit, and you're tuning into FanView.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
They had some obligations today. They had to do some 7-on-7 drill. G Sports up there in Lafayette. Coach Hurricane Hen out there in they meet. Tribute to those guys. A lot of hard work they're doing as G is a guy in media. Coach Hurricane Hen is a guy who's actually a coach in high school football. Listen, tribute to those guys. They do a lot of hard work in the community in high school sports. So they couldn't be here tonight, but the show don't stop, baby. We still continue to go on. Y'all know what it is. Listen. Add a friend, tag a friend. This is our time where we talk sports as fans. We got to talk about that in Game 3, guys. Cavs down 0-3. Is it time to get the Brooms? Got to have that conversation tonight. We got to have that conversation about Kevin Durant and his legacy, LeBron and his legacy. This is going to be about an hour show, guys, for everybody tonight. Second half of the show, I'm going to get into some NFL. You know, like I said last week, we did the quarterbacks last week. We're going to do the middle linebackers this week, the quarterbacks of the defense. Top 5 linebackers heading into 2018. And last but not least, I got a bone to pick with the NFL Top 100 list. So I'll get into that in the last 15 minutes of the show. Again, before I start the show, y'all know what I like to do. I always give a tribute to our armed forces and our military. The Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, First Responders, local police department, local fire department. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you guys enough for what y'all do for us as citizens and what y'all do for the country. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. If no one gives y'all a shout out salute, FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports will always give you that attribution, to y'all. Y'all deserve it, flat out. But here's the deal. Oh, I got a message saying we can't hear me. Can you hear me? Oh, intern. Make sure that's working. Mic on. Jay Howard, I see you already. Do we have Brooms on set? Man, that's a possibility. We can get a broom. We can get a broom. Listen, I want everybody to tune in. Listen, leave your comments. Let's recap Game 3 for people who don't know the Warriors. Had another great performance against the Cavaliers, first home game in Cleveland, and Kevin Durant just had one of those all-around, superstar legacy games. He did it again. 43 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. A complete game from him when his two counterparts, Steph Curry, was not having a great shooting night. A guy like, Klay Thompson was not having a great shooting night. Klay Thompson had 10 points. Steph Curry had 11 points. But Kevin Durant just came out there and just showed the world that, hey, look, he's a bad man. He's the most unguardable guy in the NBA. And that dude came out there and showed something last night that most people, they figured that he can do. And he did it last night. The Golden State Warriors are up 3-0 right now. And that's a testament to this series. Right now, do anybody think the Cavaliers are going to get swept? Right now, I'm going to tell you my personal take on it. I think LeBron wins game 4. I think LeBron James cannot afford to lose 4-0. Even though I stated last week it's an embarrassment to basketball if the Cavaliers win a game. I said that, and I still mean that. because at the end of the day, this is Team USA Junior over here. You know, this team has 5 guys who's played in Team USA. Andre Iguodala, Kevin Durant, you know, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. These guys have played on that Team USA team. 5 out of the 15. That's a great basketball team, though. That's one of the best regular team basketball teams ever assembled. PJ, I feel you. Kevin Durant had a great game last night. He had a dominating game last night. It was a very dominating game last night. You know, when you put up 43 points and you get 13 rebounds and you get 7 assists, you almost had a complete game, you know, as far as statistically. He dominated. And that's one of the reasons why he signed with them, you know, to get to this moment and have on these kind of performances. And you can't take that from him and his ability because he had that last night. But the question is, the opening subject to this segment here is, are the Cavaliers getting swept? Are they going home tomorrow night? Y'all leave your comments. PJ Brown, I thought he was going to win 3 games, but KD felt differently. He thought he would win game 3, but KD felt differently. Listen, I stated before the series started, I said that the Golden State Warriors were going to win the first 3 games. You go back and look at the last week's show. Golden State Warriors going to win the first 3 games. They're going to win. The Cavaliers they're going to win to me. My eyes. They're going to win tomorrow night. LeBron James cannot afford to have a sweep on his resume at this point in time in his career. He can't afford that. That guy had a triple-double last night. He had like 33 points, I think 10 rebounds and 10 assists. He had a triple, and he lost. He know his team is not going to give him the best effort that he needs to win this series. But he's going to find a way to get a game because that's what great players do. Allen Iverson won a game. He got to win a game. This is just what it is. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but at the end of the day, he has to win a game. And he will win a game. I think game 4, the Cavaliers, because the Cavaliers came out there early in game 4, and they was up on the Warriors. They came out with intensity. They came out there with energy. But, again, that third quarter from the Warriors, when they went out there and just straight dominated the Cavaliers, you know, getting some turnovers, speeding at the pace. Kevin Durant hit a lot of, you know, big shots in the third quarter. You know, that's when the Warriors take over and they switch up, you know, the pace of the game. That's when they took over. And that's when you look at the series and say to myself, man, God, they have too much talent. They have a lot of talent. A lot of talent on that team. You know, but I think LeBron James cannot afford to go down and not win a game. That's just my take on it. Y'all let me know what y'all take on this. I'm going to read some of your comments. PJ Brown said, if the Cavs get swept, I think LeBron leads Cleveland. You're right. Iverson won a game with arguably the worst roster than LeBron has. Got a point there. I mean, Iverson roster in 2001 against the Lakers was a bad roster. You can't tell me that Eric Snow and Aaron McKee and Dikembe Mutombo and Derek Coleman was them dudes. They wouldn't. That roster was a bad team. And he won a game. He had to drop 55 to do it, but he won a game. LeBron dropped 51 game 1. Didn't win. LeBron James is going to still find a way to try to game this series. I think his legacy can't afford getting swept. He's the best player in the world now. He got his team through the Eastern Conference this season, which was not an easy thing to do this year with the roster that he has. The Eastern Conference, to me, was very competitive come postseason. Milwaukee wasn't a bad team. Philadelphia 76ers wasn't a bad team. The Boston Celtics wasn't a bad team. Toronto just showed who they were. They faced LeBron. That's what they got. Indiana wasn't a bad team. But the Pelicans won a game. San Antonio won a game. The Rockets won 3 games. You got to win a game. That's just how I view it. San Antonio does not have a LeBron James, and they won a game. The Pelicans won. They have Anthony Davis, who's the second best player in NBA to me right now. They won a game. Cavs got to win a game. I think game 4 is there, and they're going to have to win their game. My intern in the background, I don't know what he got up there. He got some, thing playing, like some video game back there. Producer, you got to get that together. But they have to win a game. They have to win a game. They have to. They have to get a game in this series. I just don't see for Cass how the best player in the land, even though to me he's doing everything he can do. people don't understand that, this game, LeBron James went out there and he gave one of the best efforts that he can have. Like I said, Kevin Durant had 43 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists. Draymond Green, he didn't have the best game. He had 10 points. But again, they got so many contribution from this Golden State Warriors team. Their starting lineup was in double figures. JaVale McGee had 10 points. Klay Thompson had 10 points. Steph Curry had 11 points. Draymond Green had 10 points, So they got contributors from his team. Rodney Hood, came off the bench, and gave him 15 points, which is great for him. JR started off hot. He in the first quarter, he had 7 points, but he played 33 minutes last night and only gave you a total of 13. That's not good. George Hill gave you 27 minutes, only gave you 5 points. That's not good. Tristan Thompson gave you 34 minutes, only gave you 8 points, only gave you 7 rebounds. That's not good. They have to learn how to maximize their minutes. They just do. Christina Laurel said, I know it's a long shot, but the Cavs is 0-3, but the game isn't quite over. Until Golden State is 4-0. I agree with you. It's not 4-0 yet. Tomorrow, determines a lot. To me, the Cavaliers came out with a lot of energy. They just lost the third quarter. When they lost that third quarter, they lost momentum. They lost the effect of the game. I agree with you on that. P.J. Brown, them last few minutes of the game, when he couldn't afford to switch off KD, he has to defend him. Yes and no. He does have to defend Kevin Durant. But at the same time, you're asking the guy to still, there's rotations going, there's pick and rolls going on right now. And if you putting him on Kevin Durant, it's limiting what he needs to be effective on so many other spaces of the floor. Now, granted, Kevin Love can't guard him. Granted, Jeff Green can't guard him. You see what I'm saying? So I understand where you're going with that. LeBron James, if he had a better supporting cast, I would say yes, he needs to guard Kevin Durant. But his supporting cast, to me, is G League type talent. Jeff Green is not, the same Jeff Green that we saw coming out of Georgetown. Right now he's he's much older player. Kevin Love is a shell of himself. And so when you ask and say, yeah, he needs to guard it, but he's not getting nothing from no one else. So he has to contribute to so many other places of the game. Not trying to give LeBron a pass, but he has to contribute to his teammates in other ways besides just trying to say, I got to go guard Kevin Durant. He doesn't have Kyrie Irving no more. He doesn't have a guy who can go get him 30 points at will. He doesn't have another guy on his team to get his own shot. So to ask for him that much on a defensive level is hard because he also has to be this team's best scorer. Like last night, he had 33 points. He had 11 assists. He had 10 rebounds. It's going to be hard for him to tell him to guard the best scorer in the game also, when he doesn't have another supporting cast guy to give him those points. Brianna Lowe, looks like them light-skinned dramatics will prevail. Facts. They're going to win the series. The Warriors will win the series. The question is, are the Cavs going to get swept? Would it be 4-1? Would it be 4-0? Because I don't forecast the Cavaliers winning more than the game if they win Game 5. If they win Game 4, I don't forecast them winning Game 5. The question is, are they going to win one? Because I don't forecast them winning 2. That's not what I see. P.J. Brown, I'm not trusting JR or Kevin Love to hold KD. I don't disagree with you on that. They can't hold him. That's just, I 1,000% agree with you on that. But at the same time, what I can't hope for at the same breath is for this guy to go out here and do so many things on the offensive end because he has to be his team's best scorer to guard that guy continuously, even down the stretch, because he doesn't have another guy who can get his own shot. I can't demand that so much from him on a defensive level at this point in time in his career. I can't demand for him to have the best defensive effort when he also has to be my best offensive effort. He's not 25 no more, if that makes sense. He's 33 years old, and this is 8 consecutive finals. That's demanding. Somebody else on his team that needs to help him win the game needs to step up. That's just what I see. That's just what I witnessed. And until that happens, we're going to have, that team is going to be in a lot of chaos and a lot of turmoil, because at the end of the day, they need to do something. Rodney Hood, I think he gave them a lot of good minutes last night. Rodney Hood needs to get more minutes in this series. Larry Nance gave him 13 minutes, gave him 5 points, a couple of rebounds. Not bad. Kyle Korver didn't give him nothing. Didn't give him a bucket, but he only played 11 minutes. You know, so the Cavaliers going to have to figure out, they came out with a good bit of intensity to start game. The first half was their best half of this whole series. Energy, energetic, hustle, got rebounds, passing, distributing the basketball, taking open shots. So they did those things correctly. The second half, that third quarter, cost them the game. In the fourth quarter, Kevin Durant hit the dag. He was on. Kevin Durant was having his night. Kevin Durant was having, you know, this guy was knocking down shots. This dude was 6 from 9 from the three-point line. This guy was knocking down shots. And that's hard, and this is why it's so hard to beat that team, because when a guy like Steph is 1 from 9, 1 for 10 from the three-point line, Clay is 2 for 5 at the three-point line, that guy there is the X factor. This is why they're hard to beat. Now, I want to pose this question for people who are tuning in live right now. Again, add a friend, tag a friend into this. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. We want to have this conversation with everybody. Here's the question I have. If the Cavaliers lose, they get swept. What is the legacy of LeBron James, and what's the legacy of Kevin Durant? This is what I want people who are tuning in right now live. I want y'all take. Leave your comments, drop them in the comment box. I want to read people's answers. What is the take of LeBron? How do you feel about LeBron James' legacy if he gets swept in this series? And how do you feel about Kevin Durant's legacy? We know what Steph Curry's legacy is. He's the best shooter this game has ever seen. If he win, he'll be a 3-time NBA champion. We know what Klay Thompson's legacy is going to be. He'll be a 3-time champion, one of the top 10 best, shooters in NBA history. All-star player. We know what those two guys' legacy. Draymond Green is a defensive player of the year player. 3-time NBA champion. 3-time, 4-time All-Star. We kind of have an idea what his legacy is going to be. I'm talking about Kevin Durant. Are you going to respect Kevin Durant's legacy? Or do you think his legacy is tainted? What do you think about LeBron's legacy? Being in 8 consecutive NBA finals. Being in 9 NBA finals in a 15-year span. That's more than 50%, but only being able to win 3. Having 6 L's. What about his legacy compared to Kevin Durant? So y'all leave me your comments in there, and I just give you my take. LeBron James' legacy as a player is just impeccable. I mean, this guy's legacy is just, even if he loses, which I believe he will lose his finals, whether it's Friday or Sunday, this series will be over. This team that he brought to the finals didn't have a shot in hell from a basketball standpoint, or a talent standpoint to beat this team. But it tells me a lot about his legacy. His legacy is he can get a average or below average team to the playoffs, and he can get a below average team to the conference finals, to the NBA finals twice in his career. That's greatness. This guy's legacy to me is this guy can take the worst team in all of basketball and get them at least to the second round of the playoffs. That is greatness. I have respect for LeBron James' career, even if he gets swept. I have that much greatness for LeBron James' career. That dude is the epitome of his legacy. To me, losing this series does not define that he's not one of the all-time great basketball players. He's the best small forward to ever play basketball. He's the only small forward to ever score 30,000 points, 8,000 rebounds, and 8,000 assists in his career. And he's probably going to have, when he finishes, 35,000 points, 9,000 assists, and almost 10,000 rebounds. That's how I see LeBron James. That is greatness. He's the best small forward to ever play basketball. That's what I see. So that dude's legacy is intact, even though he brought a bad team to the finals to play the best perimeter assembled basketball team in the history of basketball. That's just what I see. Mauricio, why are you so angry? I'm not angry. I'm not angry at all. But I'm not the fan that just believes that the Cavaliers just had a shot to win this series. I stated it before when the series started. It's be embarrassment to basketball if they win the game. They are supposed to be down 3-0. That's just the facts. They're not supposed to be able to win a game in this series. I don't see that. I don't view it that way. This team went into that situation. You know, they're NBA players. That's the only thing they got in common to me. Cavaliers are NBA players. Warriors are NBA players. That's the only thing in common. After that, when you start breaking down roster by roster, spot by spot, they have nothing in common. One's inferior to the other. Steph Curry is better than George Hill and Jordan Clarkson combined. Klay Thompson is better than J.R. Smith. You can still go. Iguodala is better than Kyle Korver. You start going through the list. David West gives you better production than Jeff Green. Swaggy P gives you better production than the 8th or 9th best player, than Rodney Hood in most cases. You can start going line by line. JaVale McGee is getting better contribution to his team than Tristan Thompson. They're better. The only thing they have is LeBron James. But to me, this what defines his greatness. This is defining his legacy because he could take an average, below average team to the NBA Finals. Now, Kevin Durant, on the other hand, his legacy, to me, as a fan, and y'all let me know, y'all leave your comments, drop in the comments box. I'm reading comments tonight. We're going to have this conversation. Kevin Durant's legacy is tainted to me. Yeah, he had 43 points last night. Yeah, he had 11 assists. Yeah, he had 13 rebounds. Yeah, he had 7 assists. But to me, his legacy is tainted. When he agreed to join this team did not need a Kevin Durant. This team had won 73 basketball. They won 73 basketball games the year after he joined this team. His team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, had this team down in the series 3-1. They lost that series. And a lot of that had to do with his contributions to the team. Or lack of contribution to that team in that series. This team went to 2 NBA Finals prior to Kevin Durant ever being signed. So when he decided to agree to join this team as a free agent, to me, his legacy is tainted. Whether he decides to win it, whether his team wins the NBA Finals or not. Now, he had a great performance last night. You can't take away production. I'm not that kind of fan. 43 points is 43 points. 13 rebounds and 7 assists in that kind of NBA Finals, you can't take that away from him. But I don't respect his legacy. Looking at him being potentially a 2-time NBA champion. Because he had to agree to a team that didn't need him. A lot of y'all as fans believe that he's the 2nd best overall basketball player in the world. Then why did he have to agree to play on the best basketball team in the world? Can someone answer that question for me? I'll wait. KD won the ring. Isn't that the goal? Agreed. Playing the game, and if you're a great player and you're a top 5 player in the league, yes, you want a ring, but you want it from a competitive standpoint. When he decided to want to win the championship, he decided to take the balance out of the competitiveness. He made it uncompetitive to win a championship. So yes, winning the championship is the ultimate goal. But as fans, would we be mad if LeBron James right now decided to join the Houston Rockets? Or for example, if LeBron James would have joined the Boston Celtics when the Boston Celtics were beating him, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. You're taking the yeah, he wanted the ring. But if he would have joined if LeBron would have joined the Boston Celtics in 2010, he would have took the competitive balance out of basketball. Because that team didn't need him to get to the NBA Finals. They had went to 3 NBA Finals prior to that, if that makes sense. They had Ray Allen. They had Rondo. They had Kevin Garnett. They had a Paul Pierce. Why do they need LeBron? Because he wants a ring? I mean, let's talk about this guy's legacy. It's tainted to me. tainted his legacy. You know, Larry Fernandez Jr. said, NBA playground, stacking players will kill the NBA. I 1,000% agree. Brianna Lowe said, the Lakers did it, Miami did it. These teams are doing what it takes to get a ring. The difference is, when it comes to the Miami Heat, yes, Chris Bosh and LeBron James signed with the Miami Heat in 2010. But that was to try to be competitive enough to beat the Boston Celtics. It was to try to win the win. But the Miami Heat was not the team that was the championship team. That was the only team that had the cap space to have 3 max players. Miami Heat was not in NBA Finals prior to that season or prior to the other season. It was the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics was in 3 out of the 4 NBA Finals from the Eastern Conference because the Orlando Magic got into one. The Miami Heat freed themselves up cap space to sign 3 max players to make themselves competitive. That whole entire team, they had to earn that. They had to earn to win. They had to go play them games. They had to figure out the chemistry and mesh. They had to figure that out as a team. The Golden State Warriors were already a team. They had already figured out how to get to the finals prior to him getting there. It did nothing. And Larry Fernandez Jr. said, the Lakers had a big 2, Kobe and Shaq, with role players. Agreed. Golden State has 2 starter lineups. Facts. Yeah. And I'm not knocking Golden State for recruiting Kevin Durant and signing Kevin. That's what a great organization is supposed to do. They're supposed to sign the great basketball player. For crying, their job as a team is to recruit LeBron James. The question is, would he sign there? Kevin Durant, to me, took the uncompetitive route to want to win a championship. What he can do in the basketball, his ability to score in the basketball game makes it an unfair. The word I'm looking for is unfair. Uncompetitive balance. The only thing this team has in common with the other teams in the NBA is that they're NBA players. That's the only common trait. I betted on the Warriors to beat the Houston Rockets, but I'm telling you now, when they went down 3-2 and Chris Paul was on that team, if he would have got, I was in my soul saying to myself, I hope Chris Paul beats them. Because I want to see what they're going to do. And I like Klay Thompson. I like Steph Curry. I like Draymond Green. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, is the one I got my beef with. His legacy to me is tainted. LeBron James' legacy, even though he may be swept after tomorrow night, he's still the best player in the world. Kevin Durant, if I had to take his game and put it on, let's just speak of another, let's just say Minnesota Timberwolves or Portland. I don't know if Portland makes the finals. They should. They're competitive enough, but could they? But see, he would have to be the best player and the most important player. And if they don't make it, the spotlight's on him. See, in Golden State, he may be the best player, but he's not the most important player. So win, lose, or draw, the spotlight is not on him if that team loses. It's on Steph Curry. Listen, we got to take our first break. Listen, when we come back, we got to get into some NFL football. Like I said, it's going to be an hour-long show. Talking middle linebackers. Y'all guys leave your comments. We're going to have our top 5 linebackers in all of football coming up next. And also, I got a bone to pick with the NFL Network. So the question would be is, have they lost their credibility with the top 100? This is FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Tag a friend, add a friend, get in the conversation. Right back.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Live Line, here to tell you about the hottest bar on the West Bank, After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelka Boulevard in Gretna. Come check us out on Monday for steak and oyster night. Thursday, free seafood night. Friday, 3-for-1 happy hour. Saturdays, ladies night, and always open for parties. And then Sunday, Saint Sunday, oldie but goodie Sunday. Come find out what is hidden for at After Dark Sports Bar, 419 Lapalco Boulevard in Gretna. Doors open at 6, 12 p.m. on Sundays. After Dark is a non-smoking atmosphere.
Hey, it's your girl Black Coco, and tune in with me Thursdays at 9 p.m. where we talk everything sex, from the latest sex topics to the latest sex trends and a few exotic dancers. Plus, you never know who might drop in. Tune in with me on the Pleasure Hour, only on New Orleans Talk Network.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Slick Daddy.
This DJ Slick 514.
And of course, I'm your girl, Black Coco.
Tune into the Live Line, New Orleans Talk Network, every Tuesday, 7 to 8:30 with all the trending topics.
And you can also check out my mix, DJ Slick Mix Part 1 and 2.
And of course, check out Coco's Sex Tips of the Week.
And hashtag TTBF. That's that bullshit. It's the Live Line, New Orleans Talk Network, Tuesday, 7 to 8:30. We're always live. Let's go.
Welcome back, FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports. See, I like that background. See, producer back there. Know what time of day it is. Y'all know what it is. Football, NFL football, college football, high school football. 2 months out. Yeah, we got about 90 days left to the NFL season start. Boy, it's going down. We can't wait. We can't wait. Then again, the NBA Finals may be over on Friday. I'm gonna read Larry's comment before we get ready to this new topic. He said, I agree. I respect him with OKC. MVP and all. Think of how much parity they would be if he stayed with OKC. I agree with that. Now, I'm not arguing that he should have left. I'm not a fan of him playing with Westbrook. My problem is the team that he decided to agree to join. My problem isn't the team that recruited him. My problem is with him agreeing to join that team. It could have been Portland. He could have joined for Houston at that point in time. He could have joined the Pelicans. He could have joined any team in the league. But why are you joining a team that displayed going to 2 NBA Finals? If you're the second best player in the world, why are you joining the number 1 best team as a free agent? Who has won and lost the NBA championship? That's my bone with him. This is why his legacy to me will always be tainted. No, I'm not over it. Not getting over it. That's just where I'm at. This is how I feel. But listen, football's around the corner. Like I said, each week up to the NFL season, we're going to go over position by position, top 5. Last week, we did a top 5 of quarterbacks. You know, so I like some of y'all comments we had going back and forth. Some of y'all like Coach Hen's list. Some of y'all like my list. Now, I think my list was much better. But Coach Hen had a great list too. But this week, got to get into the top 5 middle linebackers in the NFL. And I'm going to start off with number 5. Y'all drop your list down in there. And, you know, let me know what y'all think, you know, as far as your list. But my number 5 on my list was a guy out of Minnesota. He's been in the NFL for a couple of seasons now. Where's the number 55? Used to be a former running back. Now he's a linebacker out of UCLA. Now he's one of the best one of the top 5 linebackers in the league. His name is Anthony Barr. This guy's been in the Pro Bowl 2 times now as an alternate. This guy just makes plays. He's the only linebacker I see in the game right now that can just run sideline to sideline and makes plays after plays after plays. In coverage, making plays. In run defense, making plays. Anthony Barr is becoming one young of the rising stars in the NFL. Trust me, this guy is a havoc. He's one of the biggest reasons why Minnesota Vikings have one of the best defenses in the NFL. To me, he's a standout. Minnesota made a great decision in selecting him in the first round. Anthony Barr is that guy, and I say at number 5, you got to consider him to be one of the top 5 linebackers in the league. At number 4, there's a guy that was drafted out of LSU a couple years ago. First round pick, I believe. I think he was a first round pick. out of LSU. This guy's probably the most undersized linebacker in the league, middle linebacker. But this man, Deion Jones, is number 4 on the back of my list. This guy just makes plays. He's elusive. He's running from side on side, get up and through the gaps. Athleticism, picking up Drew. Remember that play he picked up Drew Brees in the back of the end zone? This guy now with Dan Quinn has straight up is the leader of that defense. He's getting everybody in position, making plays, running all over the field. One of the big reasons why Atlanta got to the Super Bowl was because a lot of plays that Deion Jones was making. And then last year, he stepped the game up. This guy's an all-around athlete, very undersized at the middle linebacker, I think like 220-some pounds, but one of the fastest linebackers in the league. This guy just makes plays after plays after plays. And longer he's not unhealthy, this guy will be a top 5 linebacker for years to come. Those are the 2 guys that, when you look at who's been in the league less than 3 years at that position, that just flat out dominated. Deion Jones is coming in at my number 4 for me. At number 3, guy's a former Defensive Player of the Year. He's right here in the same division as Deion Jones, but not on the same team. We can't forget about this guy, Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly just dominates, makes plays, and makes plays, and makes plays. It's a very argument. Luke Kuechly is going, if he's healthy, he's going to lead that position in tackles. He's going to get people in position. He rarely misses a tackle. He's rarely out of position. Luke Kuechly is that guy. The reason why he's fall 3rd on my list, some of y'all looking at my list like, Fred, why is he number 3? Concussions. Health. This is the only reason why I have Luke Kuechly as number 3rd overall. If he can stay healthy, then he will probably be arguably number 1 on this list. But his health is an issue. So this is why I don't have him as number 1. Luke Kuechly, coming in, the former Defensive Player of the Year, guy rarely misses tackles, dominates the game. He IQ at the position is just like a quarterback. He reads the game and sees the game identically that way. I think he's the smartest linebacker in the game. Coming in at number 2, this guy here out of Texas A&M, Super Bowl champion. One of the high defensive players in the league. You can't discount Von Miller. Von Miller's that guy. He's that dude. He disrupts you. He can get to any quarterback. He can beat any tackle in the game. When it comes to making plays as a pass rusher, Von Miller is going to make that play. There isn't a play that can stop him. Not Tyron Smith, not, Teron Armstead for the Saints. You can start throwing out any left tackle, right tackle in the game, and this guy's going to make a play against him. That's Von Miller. He's an impact player. He's deserving to be one of the best highest paid defensive players in the league. Von Miller is my number 2 overall linebacker in the game. He's unblockable, dude. He has that Lawrence Taylor-like athleticism. Now, is he Lawrence Taylor? No. But he has that type of athleticism. You can't discount what he is going to do and what his role will be on the team and how he can be very disruptive. Now, you're probably saying, Fred, you got Luke Kuechly number 3. You probably got Von Miller number 2. Who can be rated higher than those 2 guys at the linebacker position? You're probably saying to yourself, you got a lot of different guys out there, man. I'm thinking if it's a middle linebacker, I'm thinking of this guy, I'm thinking of this guy here. Who can actually be number 1? Who can really outplay those guys at their position? It's one guy. Very underrated guy. And a lot of y'all gonna be like, huh? Yes, it's this guy. My number 1 overall linebacker in all of football is that guy out of Seattle, Bobby Wagner. Guy has 5 consecutive seasons over 100 tackles. He's one of the biggest reasons why that Seattle defense is what it is. He gets everybody in place. We talked about LOB a lot, the Legion of Boom, but don't forget about Bobby Wagner in the middle. Bobby Wagner making the plays. Undersized linebacker, getting in there, getting grit, one of the biggest leaders in that defense. Bobby Wagner, to me, is the best linebacker in football. I give credit where credit is due. This guy just makes plays. Over 100 tackles in 5 consecutive seasons. He rarely misses games. to me, that is my #1 guy on the list. Bobby Wagner. Hard to take away from this guy. Hard to take away from what he does and what he brings to. Seattle's going to be a tough defense again without having Richard Sherman. You know, we know Cam Chancellor is a great safety. We know Earl Thomas is a great safety. I don't think they have Cliff Favor this year. But why Seattle's going to be great? Because of Bobby Wagner. That's my #1 overall linebacker on the list. I'm going to go ahead and recap the list for some of us who didn't get the list. At 5, we got Anthony Barr. 4, we got Deion Jones. #3, Luke Kuechly. #2, Von Miller. But #1 overall on the list. That guy, Bobby Wagner. And I know some of y'all thinking, hey, there's some other middle linebackers like Melvin Ingram could have made the list. You know, what about, you know, Clay Matthews, could he have made the list? Jamie Collins, Dante Hightower. A lot of guys could have made the list. But to me, these guys here are just, they're consistent at what they do season in and season out. And those 2 young stars in Anthony Barr and Deion Jones are just making impact plays after impact plays. You know. So next week, we're going to go back to the offensive side of the football. We got to talk about, I would say this. We're going to touch on running backs. Not quarterback, not receivers. I'm going to save receivers for another week. Next week, we're going to touch on running backs. But if y'all have any, who's y'all top 5? Larry Rossi said, I have Von Miller #1. That's a great #1. Von Miller is my #2. He's a great #1. Listen to me. He has Lawrence Taylor's ability. He doesn't have his same aggression, but he has Lawrence Taylor's ability. Von Miller is a top. You know, some of y'all people feel like, you know, some people think Khalil Mack. You know, depending on if you put him on defensive end or linebacker, some people got Khalil Mack in their top 5. And I think he's a heck of a talent. But Khalil Mack is not in, he's not my top 5 linebacker in the league. Bobby Wagner, to me, is #1 overall because Seattle, for the past 5 seasons, has been a dominant defense, and he's the reason, one of the ingredients why. Same thing goes for Von Miller. They lost a lot of talent on defense, you know, but I got to see what Von Miller does for me this year because he lost, you know, Akeem Talib. You know what I mean? I think Damian Stewart is gone. He lost Malik Jackson a few years back. He lost some players now. You know, he lost Brandon Marshall. You know, no, he lost Danny Trevathan. You know, so, you know, I would agree with Von Miller in the top 5, but he's just not #1 to me. See, Richard Sherman is gone now. See, I think, but Bobby Wagner is still going to produce. He's still going to be very effective and dominate. But who's your #1 linebacker in the game? Put your top 5 list in there. I'd love to read it off. I really appreciate it. Listen, we got to get ready to take our last break for the show. Like I said, we're going to be going to 7 o'clock tonight. When I get back, our last segment is going to be about the NFL Top 100. You know, for some people who don't know who the last few players were in the past week, I'm going to read them off, the last 10 players from, I think it was 50 through 41. I'm going to read them off. And the question would be has the NFL Top 100 lost credibility? Y'all stay tuned, stay here. FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Come right back.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Liveline, here to tell you about the hottest bar on the West Bank, After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelco Boulevard in Gretna. Come check us out on Monday for steak and oyster night, Thursday free seafood night, Friday 3-for-1 happy hour, Saturdays ladies night and always open for parties, and then Sunday, Saint Sunday, oldie but goodie Sunday. Come find out what is hidden for at After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelco Boulevard in Gretna. Doors open at 6, 12 p.m. on Sundays. After Dark is a non-smoking atmosphere.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. FanView, Real Fans Talk Sports again. Add a friend, tag a friend. We're gonna wrap up this last 15 minutes. What they do is that this list is about us players grading out who's the best overall, players in the league, in that certain positions. And we touched upon this maybe a couple of weeks ago when we had Mike Thomas and we had Marshawn Lattimore coming in at 82 and 81. And it was very disappointing. And we felt at the point in time, what receiver can become, really ahead of Mike Thomas, and what corners really can come before a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, even though he was a rookie, but he had a dominating rookie season, And so now we're asking the question of, give me a second, guys. So now we're asking this question of, who can dominate this position? And we say to ourselves, for last week, top 100, the guys that came in 40 was Tyreek Hill. 39 was Tyron Smith. 38 was Jared Goff. 37 was Jerry Bosa. 36 was Adam Thielen. 35 was A.J. Bowie. 34 was DeMarcus Lawrence out of the end out of Seattle. The end out of Cowboys. Kareem Hunt was 33. Jadeveon Clowney 32. Matthew Stafford 31. And here's my question: what is wrong with that list? What's wrong with the list? I tell you what's wrong with the list. What's wrong with the list is the fact that at the end of the day, how in the hell is Adam Thielen rated at 36, and he wasn't even rated last year, and Marshawn Lattimore and a guy like Mike Thomas is rated at 80, 82, 81? How? Keenan Allen came in at 41. You know what I'm saying? Earl Thomas came in at 42. Mark Ingram came in at 43. Devontae Adams came in at 45. How are these guys rated higher than Mike Thomas? Has this list lost its credibility? To me, as a fan, it has. Because Devontae Adams isn't better than Mike Thomas. Adam Thielen isn't better than Mike Thomas. Tyreek Hill is not better than Mike Thomas. He's more explosive, but he's not a better all-around wide receiver. Mike Thomas has the most receptions for the first 2 years as a wide receiver in NFL history. Are we serious right now? This is where this list is going to get crazy. And then against Ryan Shazier, but Ryan Shazier didn't finish the season. How he finished at 47th? No disrespect to the great Ryan Shazier. He was having a great season, but he didn't finish the season. How he finished at 47. This list is starting to get very, very, to me, as a fan, it's starting to get very uncomfortable. It's starting to lose all its credibility. It's just, I'm flabbergasted on words. Mike Thomas was actually 81. Certain guys' names was not mentioned so far. Cam Jordan's name has not been mentioned yet, I believe. I'm going through the list right now. I'm looking see if Cam Jordan's name was mentioned. I don't see it so far. I think Cam Jordan needs to be a top 20 player in the league. To me, Fletcher Cox should have been rated much higher than 69. That's just me speaking. No, I don't see Cam Jordan name. Casey Hayward came in at 59. To me, Casey Hayward was one of the best corners in the league out of San Diego Chargers. He's one of the best corners in the league. You know, to me, he had a better season than Akeem Talib. To me, I have him rated higher than that. Xavier Rhodes came in at Xavier Rhodes came in at 70. I came in at 55. I mean, Xavier Rhodes to me is the top 3 corners in the league. You look at Ramsey, Casey Hayward, Marshawn Lattimore, Jalen Ramsey. These are your guys who dominate this position in the league right now. It's not, to me, it's not Patrick Peterson. it's not Josh Norman. Those 4 guys dominate the position. Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore, Xavier Rhodes, and Casey Hayward. And Marcus Peters. I forgot about Marcus Peters. This list is starting to lose its credibility to me. The guys that are on this list are starting to get to me. Jarvis Landry is not rated higher than Adam Thielen. Come on, man. This list is starting to get embarrassing. It's really starting to become embarrassing. And I'm just talking about for this season. Adam Thielen should have been somewhere at 90. I mean, Stephon Diggs at 65. Y'all help me. Y'all help me understand this list. Has it lost its credibility? Because to me, as a fan, it's lost its credibility. It has lost its credibility. That's just where I'm at with this list. There are certain people who fell into this at their respectable spots this season. I think Devontae Freeman didn't have one of the best seasons. He came in at number 70. Respectable number. I like Michael Hyde, who had a great safety. You know, he had a great year for Buffalo. You know, one of the very underrated signings this past offseason. You know, from out of Green Bay to now to Buffalo, came in at 62. Great number for him. But a lot of these guys are just reaches. Darius Slay, the cornerback, out of Detroit. Detroit almost allowed the most passing yards in the league. I don't want to see a corner from that team on this list. I just don't. I just don't. That's just where I'm at with that. Matthew Stafford coming in at number 31. Good number. Good number. Joey Bosa had a great season. Don't take nothing from him. Good number at number 37. Jadeveon Clowney came in at number 32. He had a very good season. I think DeMarcus Lawrence had a better season. I think DeMarcus Lawrence had a pot up rated higher than Jadeveon Clowney. But 32 and 34, not a bad number. I'm being honest. I have Doug Baldwin rated higher than Adam Thielen. This past season. Doug Baldwin came in at number 99. I mean, anybody lost their credibility for this list? They're at 30. They're at number 31. So I'm interested to see who the top 30 players is going to be. Make a note. Cam Jordan's name has not been mentioned yet. No, his name has not been mentioned yet. I don't think, as looking through this list here, I don't see Malcolm Jenkins came in at number 96. How? I mean, this guy's one of the best safeties in the league. How? You know, Jimmy Garoppolo made the list. Why? He only played 5 games. Why? I mean, Marcus Peters came in at 79. How? How? Someone explain this list to me, because I'm at a point of I don't even think I want to watch these top 30 players who are going to come out, because I'm reaching the point of I'm interested in seeing, you know, who's going to make this list. You got to figure Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Big Ben are going to be at least 5 of them. So that's 5 out of 30. You know, you got to figure Lattimore. I mean, you got to figure, obviously, Alvin Kamara name has not been mentioned. You got to figure he's going to be up there. You got to figure Le'Veon Bell name is going to be mentioned up there. Shady McCoy name is going to be mentioned. So that's at least 3 running backs that are going to be named. Because Ezekiel Elliott was named. And Leonard Fournette, you got to figure his name is going to be mentioned too. So that's 9 out of the 30. Right there. And then you can go to Von Miller, Cam Jordan. I can almost name off to you who these 30 guys are going to be. I just don't know what order they're going to fall in. But the list is becoming very disappointing to me, because players rate the so-called players. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, next week's show, again, we're going to be talking a lot about, we're going to go to the running backs, top 5 running backs. Make your list. Who are the top 5 running backs going into the season next year that you have as your top 5? Whether they played last year or not, who is your top 5 going into the next season of football year? Obviously, at that point in time, we know that the NBA Finals is going to be over. It's either going to be over Friday or Sunday, pick a day. And we're going to have a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about come next week. There's a lot of things that happen in the world of sports. For people who don't know, the 76ers decide to fire Brian Colangelo, their GM, you know, from all them Twitter accounts, you know, them burner accounts he had, you know, take your lick. Alvin Gentry got a 2-year extension. Kudos to him. But do I think it's a well-merited extension? Not really. I think his extension had everything to do with recruitment. You got to show signs of stability. And that signing, it came at a perfect timing, because at the end of the day, you got a big free agent class coming up. Paul George, you got to try to re-sign Boogie, LeBron, Kevin Durant. You know, Kawhi is a potential trade partner. So the signing came at the right time to show, you know, stability and try to recruit. That's what the signing meant to me. It didn't mean that Alvin Gentry did a great job. You know, but there's a lot of things going on in sports. Donald Trump, please stop sending out tweets about pro football and LeBron James and other things going on. Focus on the country, the President of the United States. But more importantly, man, y'all tune in next week. You know, this is FanView. We talk sports each and every Thursday. Hope my co-host, you know, Coach Hen and G Sports will be here next week. That's the goal, at least, that they're not doing 7-on-7 drills. And we're going to talk about the top 5 running backs in the league, and we're breaking down the NBA Finals. Y'all have a great week. I'm signing out. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm about to go get myself together. Got to take a trip this weekend. South Florida, South Beach. Y'all have a great weekend. Again, this is FanView, Real Fans Talks, but y'all probably stay tuned, because if LeBron loses tomorrow night, it's on. I'm going live. Y'all have a great weekend. Going live.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1490.
What it do, y'all? It's DJ Slick Daddy from the Liveline, here to tell you about the hottest bar on the West Bank, After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPelka Boulevard in Gretna. Come check us out on Monday for steak and oyster night. Thursday, free seafood night. Friday, 3-for-1 happy hour. Saturdays, ladies night and always open for parties. And then Sunday, Saint Sunday, oldie but goodie Sunday. Come find out what is hidden for at After Dark Sports Bar, 419 LaPalco Boulevard in Gretna. Doors open at 6, 12 p.m. on Sundays. After Dark is a non-smoking atmosphere.
Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ Slick Daddy.